Welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today we're taking a look at another game from Lock and Load Publishing, and this is their Lock and Load tactical system, which is kind of their flagship system, and this is Heroes of the Falklands. Now, a few weeks ago I played Where There Is Discord, and obviously this happened. That's a look at the kind of the air naval combat, and you do the beach landings in the Falklands, but the system is kind of small and abstracted. And obviously in that video I said, man, I wish there was like a game that tackled the ground combat in the Falklands to a greater extent. Obviously there is one, and I'm going to eat my words. And this is it. It's Heroes of the Falklands. So let's take a look. This is a big old 3-inch box. Artwork is great and is in line with all of their other Heroes games. So, looks like we've got a D8 and a D6 in there. Alright, so this is module rules and scenarios. We'll get to that in a second. So this is the main rulebook here. So this is Lock and Load Tactical. This is the modern era. So it's 1960 onwards, and this is the core rules 4.1. So this has gone through a lot of revisions, so I expect it to be very well done. And by that I mean polished, and they've kind of shaved off some of the more clunky bits, if there were any. Typically, if you've gone through 4.1 versions, you've kind of slimmed down the game to where it's very pure in what it does. And I know there's like a World War II historical era, and there's probably some other ones, but this is the modern era. So let's take a little look. This is a fairly hefty rule book, but it's got this kind of almost like a full book cover on it. Reminds me of Flames of War rule book, the soft cover one. So again, this is full color, and like you'd expect, and what I've come to expect from Lock and Load Publishing, full color, beautiful rulebook, easy to digest. The text, again, is large, so it's not too intimidating, broken up nicely. Got yourself lots of pictures and diagrams. And this is a hex and counter tactical game, as you'd expect. You've got facing for armored units. So this is, whilst there seems to be a lot, so this is extended examples of play. Yeah, where does that start? General scenario. So most of this is all the rules, and that's basic rules, generic for the whole of the modern system. So then we've got the Falklands specific rules and the scenarios. So you've got smoke laying capabilities, Argentine forces and the British forces and what they do and don't do. And then you've got all of the different modules here. So you've got the initial taking of the Malvinas, and then you'll have retaking the island, moving in. There's a lot of scenarios in here. A lot of stuff going on. Fighting in the hills and the mountains. Wow. This game looks to be very extensive, which I'm very happy about. I want a game that covers as much of a campaign as I can, so I get the full flavor of everything that was gone through. And what you've got is, you've got paragraphs, so you'll read kind of what's going on. You've got some special rules here. Then it says here, don't read ahead, stop, don't read these paragraphs until you're instructed to. So as soon as this particular thing happens, once you get here, then you read this paragraph. So this particular thing happens once you get there. So there's a level of little secrecy there in some of these, which I think is really fun. Just add some of the historical events and the unknowns that Recon doesn't cover that the troops were up against on either side. So that's those. Let's get to the counters, which there are many. And these are, again, pre-rounded punched counters, and they're double-sided here, which is nice. So you've got move and fire, you've got spotting, you've even got like low crawling, assault moves, fired. So there's a ton of different stuff here. As far as administrative counters go, so you've got real units here. So you've got your hero units and your commanders. And then you've got your tactical different squads, and I would presume that these are all historical once again, and these are actual people who fought in these different battles, skirmishes, and the campaign as a whole. Different counters that are going to go on the board with regards to extra terrain and bits and pieces. So you've got scorpions, got some armored units here as well. And they have a reduced side, or a shaken side, I suppose. Mines, foxholes, everything you'd expect from a tactical level game. And there's one other sheet here. So you've got your Argentine forces. Looks like you'll have a large battleship that'll go on 3 different hexes. That's cool. And these large, so you've got helicopters, and these are larger counters which will be used. You can stack those probably, and they can carry troops at times. Counters themselves, so let's punch these Argentine ones. Fairly simple, great artwork on them, but not too cluttered. Yeah, this is, I've seen games where they have hundreds and hundreds of numbers on them. This is not one of those. So fairly simple counters, easy to read, easy to manage. So that's nice. I like that. So we've got these maps. These are fairly small map cards. Let's take a look. This is your regular sheet of counters. This map card is just a couple inches, 3 or 4 inches, 2 inches longer than that. So these are fairly small geomorphic maps, single-sided. There's a bunch of them. So you'll be putting these together to create your scenarios. Like, you've obviously got a lot of coastal ones. Everything looks, it's barren trails and hills. The odd dotted building. Presumably this is Port Stanley, or it would be in one of those. So there's a bunch of these. Let's see. These are all single-sided, so you'll be putting all these together. And again, like all of these Heroes games, the Lock and Load Tactical Series, all of the maps are kind of compatible. So if you buy multiples of them, you can put them all together to make different huge scenarios if you wanted to. The rest of the box here, you've got some play aid cards. You've got a sequence of play, which is nice. You've got some spotting rules, defective, and this is double-sided. So on this side, you've got small arms fire versus infantry vehicles, artillery and air support, ordnance. So this is just modifiers and some charts there. This one this is going to be your turn track on here, and you've got casualty boxes and a few different play aids there. So we'll keep that to the side when we're playing. And then this one, this is a skill reference card. So your heroes and stuff, and some of your units will have skills. This is what they do. And there's a ton of these. And I like this. You've got special abilities. Sometimes you don't use one for the whole game. You don't have to flip the rulebook. It's right here. Boom. And then we've got another play aid. This is just rules reference. So this is great. These have great diagrams and iconography. If you want to do this thing quickly, if it's, you do this, resolve. So that's nice, easy to understand. Those are going to be great. So you've got Harrier attacks, follow the chart, do the rolls, add the modifiers. So there's nice, great play aids. Very happy about that. And then you have your kind of combat results table here. An explanation of everything that those mean. Melee table, which looks to be, let's see, it's odds ratio based on that. So things are going to get very nasty. Die roll modifiers on here, ordnance firing table, and this has also got terrain effects chart on this side, explanation of everything, and then you've got various different obstacles and bits and pieces like that. So there's a ton in the box, but there's also a lot of room to expand this. So really, you've got all that in a 3-inch box, but with all of the different, so getting trays and baggies, we're going to fill this box up nicely. And what we also have, so we have battle generator for the Falklands game. Let's crack this open real quick. So once you've played through the whole campaign, you know, you're not done with the game. You can get this battle generator, and it's a book with a card here. Let me just pull that out. And this is going to tell you, you define what kind of a battle it is. You know, is it some kind of a defensive or an assault, things like that. You orient the maps in a certain way, and it gives you some rules about doing that and what to look for. You can roll dice to determine them randomly. You define a deployment area where the forces are going to come in. Oop, let's skip into the end there. And then you've got rules to do with point cost. So you give yourself X amount of points, and then you buy your forces based on the values here. You can do weather conditions, and then you play. So you have like an infinite number of battles that you could run basically on this. So here's a look quickly at the other titles in this series. So you've got Day of Heroes, which looks like it's modern desert combat. So that's going to be in these modern rules. Heroes of Nam, I believe, because this is 1960 to present, that's going to be in the modern era. And then you've got Heroes Against the Red Star, which I'm not entirely sure what combat that is, but it looks awfully Russian to me. And then over here you've got the old World War II era, Heroes of the Motherland, so you get some East Front, Normandy, Heroes in Defiance, so this will be, it's either very early war or it's French resistance, Dark July, so, and then North Africa, and then Heroes of the Pacific as well. So there's a ton of titles in this series. So once you learn the series, you know, play one game, learn the series, there's a ton more out there for you. So that's exciting. And this was the other chart in here. Again, this is just battle generator for Argentine forces, battle generator for British forces. So this is just another extra set of references for buying your forces. And the last thing that I have for this game is the X maps. And this is something that Lock and Load do for all of their Lock and Load tactical system. There's X maps for each of their games. And what the X stands for is extra large. Just pull these out, they're kind of tight in there. These are exactly the same as these smaller maps we had. So this one's, let me pull out map 12 so you can see it. He says losing it. So this is map 12 from the normal game, and this is map 12 from the X maps. As you can see, area-wise, that's probably 50% bigger. They're just larger, so if you've got a ton of counters on there, especially if you're doing your own map, your battle generators, you could probably end up with a ton of counters. These are all the same, they're just much bigger, less to fiddle with if you're getting large stacks of stuff, so it's, you know, easier to handle. So these are nice. That's a nice addition, and they're optional, so you don't have to use these if you don't want to, but if you are someone that wants these are available. I appreciate that they, you know, have this available for those of us with fat fingers who have a hard time pushing stacks of counters around, which is definitely me. So, excited to play this game, excited that it's a Falklands game, and it's exactly what I wanted. When I finished playing Where There Is Discord, I was like, I want to fight the land battle in more detail and kind of do that. And I was at a loss as to where to do that. Lo and behold, Lock and Load Publishing come to the rescue. And this is like a fantastic game, and I cannot wait to play this. So, thanks very much for watching. That's everything that's in Heroes of the Falklands from Lock and Load Publishing. And I've been Alexander from theplayersaid.com.